In Brockton, we swing for the fences so we can touch home.
We coach in Brockton to instill the teamwork that builds a great winning tradition.
We do business in Brockton because here you can find a taste of home away from home.
We keep our company in Brockton because we love this city.
I study and learn in Brockton to achieve my goals.
When Brockton is home, everything is within reach.
You're watching Sioux City Scoop.
You're watching Sioux City Scoop. You're watching Sioux City Scoop.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Sioux City Scoop. I'm Mayor Bill Carpenter. This week we're going to take you for a tour around the outside of City Hall Plaza. We've received constant questions and inquiries as to exactly what's going on with all of the construction that you see in and around City Hall. We understand that it's been a little inconvenient for some folks, but I think when you hear about the exciting plans for the new City Hall Plaza, we'll look forward to seeing a great park here in the spring. So I'm joined by Mary, who's the architect of the project, and Andy, who's the project manager. And we thought we'd get the experts to show us around a little bit. So Mary, first of all, seeing as you invented this, right? This was all your creation. Give us a little bit of the background. This project is being funded by a state urban parks grant.
Yes.
Money that the governor, I guess the intent of this grant is to recreate green spaces in urban settings. And I think if we think about what City Hall Plaza used to look like,
yes,
it was anything but. It was all brick and mortar.
Yep.
So give us a little background on the project itself and what some of your vision was as you sat down to design this.
Okay. Well, I can't take full credit for this. I mean, this is really the product of a lot of teamwork, not only within my firm, but within the city, the firefighters, the people in City Hall Plaza, the community that came out to the public meetings, and also, as you mentioned, the state, the Gateway Cities Grant Program. They provided a substantial amount of funding, not only for the design work that we did, but also the construction of this great space. And there were several goals, but one of the first and foremost was to create more green space. This was a lot of paving, very hot, very hostile type of environment, and also improve accessibility. There was a lot of uneven pavement, a lot of walls, steps, a lot of barriers to accessibility. So with the new design, we've really taken down many of the walls that were here.
Right.
And have lowered things and made the grades accessible for people in wheelchairs, people with disabilities.
Yeah.
The other big goal was to create a beautiful setting for this historic building. The architecture that was here was done, I think, in the 1970s in an era of very modern, brutalistic, concrete style.
It was all brick and stone, basically.
Yeah. So we wanted to provide a setting that really kind of set off this beautiful historic building. So a lot of the materials that we're using are historic-looking benches, historic-looking lights. We have granite that matches the beautiful granite at the base of the building. So really things that match the building and will stand the test of time.
Now I know you haven't actually built the park yet, but one of the big changes I noticed right away, it seems as though you've really increased the visibility of City Hall itself. When you drive by now or you walk by, you really can see the building, and a lot of that plaza that used to be here, it tended to obstruct the view of the City Hall building, which, as you said, is a beautiful historic building. Was that part of one of the goals of the new design?
Absolutely. Not only viewing through the building to see this beautiful building, but also it helps to create a sense of safety. Anytime that you have multiple ways that people can see in and out of a site, it helps create a sense of safety. And that was another goal, is to make this feel safe. You know, it's going to be well lit. And it's just going to be a great space when
And greener, much
and
greener.
much greener,
Much greener.
Yes.
In Brockton, we swing for the fences so we can touch home.
We coach in Brockton to instill the teamwork that builds a great winning tradition.
We do business in Brockton because here you can find a taste of home away from home.
We keep our company in Brockton because we love this city.
I study and learn in Brockton to achieve my goals.
When Brockton is home, everything is within reach. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to the official announcement of the reconstruction of the Mulberry Street Playground. We're very excited today to be able to announce that we are rebuilding what has been an abandoned, vacant former playground for decades.
We're very thrilled to know that history, but more importantly, that the young kids who live around this area will create their own history here in this park.
Neighborhoods where it's all begins, because that's where we live, we play, and we enjoy life. So a tip of the hat to all those who made this possible, and let's continue to move forward under the leadership that we enjoy in Brockton, and our delegation, and our mayor, and all our city councilors.
Well, what a great turnout. First of all, thank you to everyone here for turning out for this grand opening. I want to congratulate Nadine and Marcel on this beautiful business that they've obviously invested a lot of their work and money into to own a business here in the city, and we want to be here to support you in any way that we can. I want to thank Chris and the Chamber for all the work they do. Gary Leonard, our new Main Street manager, is here. He's already working very hard with businesses up and down the Main Street corridor. We've got Jonathan and Jeremy from the Campello Business Association here. So I think that there's a lot of support here in this room for wanting to see this business succeed.
We are very close because we've gone through some thick and thin together. We grew up in the middle of a civil war in Angola. We have some loving parents that actually have done some wonderful things to keep us together. We've got a great family. There's 5 of us all together, 4 boys and a girl. And we've got a bunch of little nieces and nephews running around. But I'm glad that this is actually happening here in the city that we call home.
I'm glad that they're all part of this. And I did this for them. I did that for the little ones, for them to have something later on. For me, it's 5 years and they take over. My older brother and I will retire somewhere and enjoy our rest of our life. So thank you all and welcome to
2, 3.
I love the fact that we will still have an amphitheater.
We still have an amphitheater, and the great thing about it, going back to the accessibility thing again, is that it's going to be accessible to people in wheelchairs and
That's
people
awesome.
that have disabilities.
Yeah.
You know, the amphitheater that was here before, you really,
No.
you know, if you were disabled, you really couldn't get
Right,
it and
right.
have a good view. So.
No, and I think particularly in the 21st century, accessibility is important everywhere, but particularly in a public building, public setting, public property, it absolutely has to be accessible for everyone to be able to enjoy it. So,
and as you can see with that big wall gone, you can see right to downtown, and people downtown can see things happening here, and it will naturally draw people.
So this, clearly you can see this is the theater type of seating here. What will be right behind here, Mary?
There's going to be lawn and trees. So that will be sort of an informal seating area for a large event. If people want to bring chairs or just bring a blanket, sit in the lawn.
Sure.
that's
lawn
another
seating.
option. Lawn seating.
The berm. Everyone has a berm now.
Yeah, it will actually berm up slightly so to kind of hide the view of some of the parking back there, but not too high.
Not like the big concrete wall that used to be there. Yeah. So Andy, from a construction standpoint, tell us what we're looking at right here. You know, what have you done to get it to this point so far, and how will it fill in from here?
So what we have here, these are the foundations for the granite seats that are going to be sitting on top of this. So actually all this will end up being buried, and you'll have the granite seats that stick out at around about 2 feet. So if the top of these foundations and forms will actually end up being your finished grade.
So that'll be just above ground level then? So most of what we're looking at is foundation that will be underground.
Be buried,
Wow.
And then you'll have your concrete slabs to walk on, and then your granite seats on top of all these foundations.
Wow. So that's going to be beautiful, and it's set up very similar in terms of the location from where the old amphitheater was. But as you said, now bringing in the accessibility and also opening up this whole end so that people can actually see City Hall Plaza.
That's kind of a nod to what was here before. The geometry is actually the same radius of what was here before. It's just lower.
So, see, you're mistaken. It's just not as high as it used to be. Yeah. See, all these years I thought I was short. Come to find out I'm just not as tall as some other people. So, Andy, before I forget to ask, when's this going to be all done?
June 30th next spring is our deadline.
I was being kind of a wise guy. I didn't expect you to actually have a date.
Actually, it will be substantially done by April 30th.
Okay. Yep. And then finishing touches after that. Yeah. So I guess there's going to have to be a lot of landscaping involved, right? Is that the final part, the landscaping?
Yeah, that will be the last thing they're going. That'll be the next spring. They'll do the irrigation, and then they'll plant all the plantings.
Okay. All right. Nice. So with the irrigation, it'll stay green all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know right behind us, I know a lot of folks express concern about the firefighters memorial statue. So it'd be great to just mention for a minute there, Andy, what exactly you've done to protect the statue.
So that has been totally encased in a wood frame, and also has been encased in a waterproof membrane. So it's protected for frost, and also the wood to keep, the wood frame to keep it from being disturbed accidentally, and then the fence, of course, around that.
Yep.
So it brings you almost to 3 levels of
So
protection.
you've basically built it into a shelter while you work all around it. And Mary, tell us a little bit about the lighting, because I know that in terms of illuminating City Hall and the types of lighting that will be out here.
Yes, well, we'll have along the sidewalk, we'll continue the new street lighting, the historic street lighting. But again,
part of our streetscape project.
Yep, the exact same light. And then to really set off City Hall, we have in-ground lighting that will be placed all around the perimeter that will shine light up on the facade.
Wow.
And then at the top of some of the pole lights, there'll be additional spotlights that will illuminate the very peak of City Hall, so that the whole building will just be aglow in light.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be beautiful.
That'll be incredible, because the building is beautiful at night, even to the extent you can see it now. But you can imagine it with all the light shining on it.
Yep.
You'll be able to see it long before you get here.
Yeah, we hired on a lighting designer, so it's professionally designed lighting. So it's just going to be fabulous.
And that will the lighting be all the way around the building, or just in certain areas?
All the way around. If you remember previously, there were just big floodlights that were, directed on the building, and it kind of created some very bright spots and dark spots. But this lighting will just illuminate the whole thing evenly, and it'll be like a jewel in the night.
Yeah. So people are going to have to come check out the building at night, not just during the day.
Yeah.
All right. How difficult is that lighting to put in, Andy?
It's very easy. The cans are only like maybe this big, and they have, they're directional. So after they're in, they can put them to the spot they want, and they're just tied together with a conduit that's about 2-3 feet underground. So they're very easy to put in.
Especially when you've got it all dug up like this right now. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And our lighting designer will come down when they've got everything set up at night and they'll do some final adjustments to make sure that the lights are aimed properly and really make sure it's done.
We may have to do the ribbon cutting at night.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, let's keep circling around the building here. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to the official announcement of the reconstruction of the Mulberry Street Playground. We're very excited today to be able to announce that we are rebuilding what has been an abandoned, vacant former playground for decades.
We're very thrilled to know that history, but more importantly, that the young kids who live around this area will create their own history here in this park.
Neighborhoods where it's all begins, because that's where we live, we play, and we enjoy life. So a tip of the hat to all those who made this possible, and let's continue to move forward under the leadership that we enjoy in Brockton, and our delegation, and our mayor, and all our city councilors.
So we've moved down now towards the Montello Street end of City Hall on the south side, the east side of the building. And here, Andy, we can see you've done a lot of work here. This looks like driveway parking. Exactly how will this be laid out, and how will you access it?
And so this will all be concrete paving from School Street in.
Okay. So you'll come in, so that there was an entrance here before. This is a little more clearly defined now, though, with the high granite curbings.
Right. You'll have a 6-inch reveal on all these curbs when we're done.
Okay. And as we look up towards City Hall from the Montello Street direction, parking on one side but not on the other.
Correct. Parking will be against the building side. No parking on the other side.
That's a fire lane on that side, so we can't really parking over there.
And this will be in terms of getting to the accessible entrance. This will be the way to get there. And I'm assuming there'll be some HP parking somewhere near the door up there.
Handicap parking will be up closest to the entrance.
Okay.
And one of the things that we've done is the grade there before didn't meet the current regulations.
Right.
It pretty much has to be fairly flat.
Right, can't be steep, right, yeah.
So we flattened that area out so it will all be accessible.
I see.
Have a nice, easy way.
And they'll slope down afterwards, but after you're further down. Yeah, okay.
So we were kind of working on a hill there. I mean, you really can kind of see how it's so much higher at that end of City Hall.
It sure is, when you stand down here and look up, you really can see that you're downhill.
So it was kind of a challenge to, make
to figure out how to do the elevations, yeah. Now, Andy, there seems to be a strategy here as to how you're working, because right now we have temporary parking that's set up over on the Crescent Street side, coming in from Crescent Street. Right. I imagine you'll get this done, and then you'll move over there, but the cars will be able to come back here?
Right, that's why the push right now is to get this side done, so we can move your temporary parking from there over to here as permanent parking, and then we can take over that side of the job and finish it up.
Okay. So this is, in terms of where people come in, right, it's going to change at some point. Right now, the easiest access is coming in from Crescent Street, but at some point, that'll become the work area, and this parking will be restored, and you'll come in from School Street. Mary, as we look now, we're around to the side of the building that faces Crescent Street, the south side of the building, and if we look down in the distance all the way out towards Crescent Street, what is set up as temporary parking now, what will we see here when the project is complete?
Well, it's going to be very green. We've basically taken out all of the paving. We'll have 2 walkways down, one on VFW Parkway side here and a walkway on the east side.
So this won't be any parking here anymore?
There won't be any
this
parking.
This will be park?
It'll be park.
Park, yeah.
And we have a series of green panels that kind of march their way down towards Crescent Street with areas where people can sit. We have the historic benches that you're using as part of the streetscape project, and the trash receptacles, and trees, lawn, and more of the curbing. continuing all the way down to Crescent Street.
And you said irrigation earlier too? Or?
Irrigation.
Yeah. So it'll be green in the middle of the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, which will be beautiful. Now, as we look out this direction, the city has recently acquired the former Liberty Bank building. So we've got the school department building, the municipal garage, this will become a municipal building down on the left, and of course City Hall. So in essence, this park is almost creating a government center.
Plenty of places for people to sit on benches, on the lawn.
Yeah.
And one other thing I should mention is that along this area there were 3 granite memorials to the different wars.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've done is we've brought them up closer to the amphitheater at the request of people from the Veterans Committee. So there'll be a sort of a semicircular area here where the monuments will be relocated so that when they have their ceremony at the amphitheater, they just have to walk a short distance to lay the wreaths at the memorials.
And Andy, I know like the section we're looking at that we just came from it, if someone didn't realize, they may think you haven't done a lot of work there. I've been watching you for months. So just tell us a little bit about in terms of infrastructure underneath. You've had to change some of the utilities and infrastructure underneath before you could put this park in on top.
There was a water line, the hydrant that we had to pull back out of the way to fit the parking. There was drainage that we had to add. All the electrical for the new light pole bases and lighting had to be put in. So there's quite a bit of stuff underground that has already been completed that you don't see that we've been doing
before the part that you see comes in, before the concrete and then eventually the landscaping.
Majority of our best work gets buried.
Yeah. So April 30th, you're telling me we'll have this almost done?
Substantially completed.
Yep.
And June 30th.
That sounds like another architect's term. It won't be done, but it will be substantially completed. But not finished.
Well, there's always something that we find that they haven't done. So, the flagpoles that were there are going to return.
Oh,
so,
okay.
It's just a temporary thing that they're not there.
Okay.
But we will have the flagpoles back.
All right. Well, sounds great. Well, guys, I want to thank you very much for taking me on the tour. Mary, it's a great design.
Thank you.
And Andy, thanks for all the great work you guys are doing out here. And perhaps we can do this again. When are we going to do this again? Early spring?
We should do it at night.
Yeah, we'll do it at night. Once the lighting is in, we'll do it at night.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Hey, everyone, thanks for watching a Sioux City Scoop this week. I'm your Mayor, Bill Carpenter. You can catch us on Channel 12 Comcast and also on YouTube at youtube.com/Mayor Bill Carpenter. We'll see you next week.
In Brockton, we swing for the fences so we can touch home.
We coach in Brockton to instill the teamwork that builds a great winning tradition.
We do business in Brockton because here you can find a taste of home away from home.
We keep our company in Brockton because we love this city.
I study and learn in Brockton to achieve my goals.
When Brockton is home, everything is within reach. What a great turnout. First of all, thank you to everyone here for turning out for this grand opening. I want to congratulate Nadine and Marcel on this beautiful business that they've obviously invested a lot of their work and money into to own a business here in the city, and we want to be here to support you in any way that we can. I want to thank Chris and the Chamber for all the work they do. Gary Leonard, our new Main Street manager, is here. He's already working very hard with businesses up and down the Main Street corridor. We've got Jonathan and Jeremy from the Campello Business Association here. So I think that there's a lot of support here in this room for wanting to see this business succeed.
We are very close because we've gone through some thick and thin together. We grew up in the middle of a civil war in Angola. have some loving parents that actually have done some wonderful things to keep us together. We've got a great family. There's 5 of us all together, 4 boys and a girl. And we've got a bunch of little nieces and nephews running around, but I'm glad that this is actually happening here in the city that we call home.
I'm glad that they're all part of this, and I did this for them. I did that for the little ones, for them to have something later on. For me, it's 5 years, and they take over. My older brother and I will retire somewhere and enjoy our rest of our life. So thank you all, and welcome to
2, 3.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to the official announcement of the reconstruction of the Mulberry Street Playground. We're very excited today to be able to announce that we are rebuilding what has been an abandoned, vacant former playground for decades.
We're very thrilled to know that history, but more importantly, that the young kids who live around this area will create their own history here in this park.
Neighborhoods where it's all begins, because that's where we live, we play, and we enjoy life. So a tip of the hat to all those who made this possible, and let's continue to move forward under the leadership that we enjoy in Brockton, and our delegation, and our mayor, and all our city councilors.